What's up, everybody? This is 2-Point Conversion with Zach and Trav.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Trav, bringing you the most unprofessionally informative sports show around. So what we want to do is take a quick minute to thank everybody for our last video. Got almost 140 views on YouTube, so thank you guys so much.
That's right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Also, we just want to go ahead and give a shout out to our boy Chase. We told him we'd give him a little love in this video. He's a fan of the show. Chase, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Chase.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
All right.
All right, so Zach, why don't you tell us what's on the agenda for today?
First up today, we're going to have draft prep steps. Things to do, things to not do, things that might end up helping you have the best draft you can. Next, we're going to go with players who were on new teams this year, how that might affect their fantasy stock, what that might mean as far as where to draft them, the players that are around them. And also, we're going to go with a breakdown of best breakout players from last year. These are guys who had a great season, come out of nowhere. What could we expect from those guys this year? And then lastly, we're going to go through a quick rundown of 5 sleeper players to look out for this year.
Sweet. So let's get started with some draft prep ideas.
Let's do it. First of all, guys, when it's draft time, you want to have your beer with you, okay? There's no sense in going thirsty during the draft. If you're a Dos Equis guy, drink you some Dos Equis during the draft, okay? No need in going thirsty. It might help loosen up some of those nerves, you know what I mean? Next, be sure you have a good internet connection, guys. 2 years ago, I was going to draft. I'd begun my draft. 3rd round, I lose internet connection. I was pretty upset. The computer picked the guy for me, somebody I didn't want, ended up letting him go. It's just not a good deal.
It's
Check
the
your
worst.
internet connection. It's horrible, you know? So next, guys, eat you a sandwich. Have you some snacks with you, right? I mean, there's no sense in going hungry during the draft.
Hello?
Look, order you a pizza or so, have something right there. These drafts get kind of long, drawn out. Have you a little something to eat on, okay, guys? No need in going hungry. Next, if you have a memento that you feel is lucky, if you have your favorite jersey, look, I don't care if you have the same pair of dirty socks that you had last year when you won the championship, wear them socks, let's pick some winners this year, and feel good about the guys that you're picking up, right?
Absolutely.
We gotta do it, man.
Right.
We gotta do it. Next, let's think about handcuffs, okay? Handcuff players. If you have a guy who you know is injury prone, if you have Arian Foster out there, I don't know why you want to pick the guy, but if you do, get his backup. Get a Jakey. Get somebody that you think might end up mid-season coming in and playing for a guy that's hurt. Okay? Nothing wrong with getting a good handcuff out there. Also, it could be a good trade bait down the road. Next, let's go ahead and check the injury reports. If you have a guy that's hurt, starting the season, hurt through most of training camp, he might not be on point when the season starts. He might be a little bit behind. Also, you might get a good steal and get a guy a couple rounds later just because he was hurt through training camp. So let's not forget about that. Bye weeks, that's also a big thing. Some people think that they want to get all their bye weeks at the same time and get it out of the way. Just take maybe a W. I mean, take a L. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take a loss. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Take one loss. Or some people like to spread it out. Personally, me, I think, you were right. You were on to something the other day. You said, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Maybe you'll get lucky.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try this year. Previous years, I've just been drafting randomly, but this year I'm going to try to focus in on 2 bye weeks and draft players according to that to just see how it works out.
Exactly. What's taking 1 loss as opposed to potentially taking 3 if you're that worried about it? You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that at all, guys. Next, think about the system that your player you're drafting is involved in. You want to get a receiver, maybe he's a great receiver on a new team, but he's in a run-heavy offense. Maybe he's in a team that's got a brand-new quarterback or a struggling quarterback. You got to think about these things when you're drafting players. Don't just draft the player, consider the players around him. Also, offensive line. We've talked about this with DeMarco Murray.
Never underestimate the power the offensive line has on your receivers, your running backs, and your quarterbacks.
Exactly.
It all starts up front, boys.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that, man. Next, go ahead, Trav. Take it away.
Pardon me for interrupting.
All right.
Let's go to 5 notable players on new teams.
Absolutely. First of all, we have Arian Foster signing with the Miami Dolphins. Personally, the guy's always hurt, okay? They need to have an ambulance on standby in Miami because this guy will be injured at some point during the season, whether it's a hangnail, a bruised shoulder, or a torn ACL. He's going to get hurt. I drafted him 3rd round last year because he was already hurt. Come to find out that was still a little bit too high.
The guy is a wuss. I have never drafted Arian Foster and been happy with it at the end of the season. Like Zach said, he always has some too long nose hairs or he has a bloody nose. he breaks a pinky, anything like that.
It's horrible.
So
the guy don't play through an injury either.
No, the guy cannot be trusted. So anyway, I'm not going to target him at all this year. I don't think in Miami he's going to amount to anything. He'll be hurt before too long. So
if he's there in the 7th round or something late like that, maybe you take a chance on him in a flex. But I wouldn't risk anything higher than that with a guy like him.
Maybe so, and I just don't trust the guy. I've had bad experiences with him, so
can't do it, man.
That's it.
Proceed with caution.
Number 2, we've got DeMarco Murray, Titans running back. 3rd team in 3 years. This guy.
This guy a lot of people love to hate. Okay, DeMarco Murray was on cloud 9 2 years ago. He was at the top of the football world, breaking records. People had already pretty much put this guy in the Hall of Fame. So he gets upset over a few dollars, goes to Philly, and they expose all his vulnerabilities with a subpar offensive line.
Right, he gets lost behind Ryan Matthews, and even Darren Sproles took over there for him a while because he didn't fit in the Chip Kelly system. That was one of the dumbest moves ever made for Philadelphia's standpoint. You had LaShawn McCoy, who, in my opinion, would have fit Chip Kelly's system perfectly, but he went for DeMarco Murray and messed up DeMarco Murray's career because if he would have just stayed in Dallas, I don't mean to sound like too much of a homer here, but I think that could have been a...
Could have been. It's so close.
That could have been a Hall of Fame team.
It could have been something special. Now the guy's going to end up splitting time with a rookie this year, more than likely. So here's looking at you, DeMarco. It's what it is. Next, Matt Forte. I've always been a little bit of a Matt Forte fan. I feel like he kind of carried the offense in Chicago from time to time because they don't have a real consistent quarterback up there in Cutler. With that being said, they don't have it really in New York either. You know what I mean? He could end up helping take a little pressure off of whether it's Fitz or Gino, whichever one to go with. But I'm not expecting too much out of him. I think he's going to put up some decent numbers. Probably a strong flex, maybe a good starter. But
yeah, I like Forte. Where he's mainly effective is in the passing game. He's a great running back / receiver. He's going to get you yards and touchdowns as a receiver. So I think with the talent they've got there in New York, with him and Geno Smith, who I think eventually is going to take over the starting job.
I think so too.
Fitzpatrick isn't really anything to speak of. He might start the season, but eventually Geno is going to take over.
The hell of a backup.
And I think they'll complement each other well, especially when you put them with that defense they have in New York.
Exactly.
So number 4, we've got Lamar Miller / Brock Osweiler. Now, Zach, I really, really like this combination at Houston. I don't think Osweiler is ever going to be a stud quarterback, but I think with this system, the way that Lamar Miller, his talent, and then they got DeAndre Hopkins, and we all know about their offensive line and their defensive line with J.J. Watt. I think when you factor all that in, he could be an awesome game manager. And it's been proven before that you can win a Super Bowl with just a game-managing quarterback.
That's a good point.
Right. Can you think of any examples?
Well, I mean, I could think of one, Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He won a Super Bowl.
Right.
And also, they put a lot of good talent around Brock Osweiler. I mean, he's a $72, $74 million man. He started a few games over Peyton last year. The guy signed a fat contract. They have the tools around him. They picked up Lamar Miller. They have Hopkins. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. These guys might be a good team for a few years. I mean, hell, Osweiler might fold under the pressure. I don't know, but I'm kind of rooting for the guy. I hope they have a decent season.
Yeah, I think it's a great combination. Well, actually, a trio, because you got Hopkins, Miller, and Osweiler. I think they're going to help each other out
young talent.
Tremendously. So maybe eventually Houston will grow up one day. You never know.
Maybe one day they'll be like the Cowboys. Next, we got Texas guy Robert Griffin III.
You stupid.
Horrible fit. I mean, absolute horrible fit. The Browns, as we all know, are where quarterbacks go to die. I mean, if you go to the Cleveland Browns, you're basically saying, well, see you later, my career's over.
It's almost like the guy's giving up. Okay, did the Canadian Football League not have any contracts that they were offering quarterbacks? Like, he really chose the Browns?
Apparently not.
I figured he went to the Alouettes or, somebody like that up there, the Sabercats or whatever the hell they are up there. But he chose the Browns, unfortunately, for Mr. Griffin. I hope the guy does well. He's a Texas guy, we like our Texas guys. This guy gets hurt a lot, too. I mean, he's had a turf monster jump up and trip him up on the field a couple times and had some serious injuries, non-contact injuries. Those worry you more than people that have actually been hitting him.
Yeah.
Those things don't go away.
I'm rooting for the guy, like you said. I've liked Robert Griffin III since he was at Baylor. I think he could be an awesome quarterback if he would just stay healthy and if he was in the right system.
Exactly.
And Cleveland is not the right place.
No,
I don't know
never.
why these. Just look at the quarterbacks they've
Never.
had over the past 20 years. Never works out.
They've drafted, 10 or 12 decent quarterbacks out of college.
Yeah.
They've had 18 starters in the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre.
It's crazy.
And I'm not expecting too much from RG3, neither of us are. But if you're desperate, maybe give them a shot. Other than that, just leave the guy alone, guys.
But that's 5 notable players on new teams. So we'll move right along to 5 breakout players from last year. And we'll start with the number 1 guy on my list, which is David Johnson, the Cardinals running back. This guy really took the league by storm last year, especially late. He came on strong after they figured out what they wanted to do at the running back position. He ended up with 581 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 457 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns.
He didn't have a bad year. The thing was, he didn't start full-time the whole year. He had a little bit of a help. It was a little bit of a split-back system they ran over there, so he didn't get the ball all the time. My problem is Yahoo has him ranked number 3 overall. I mean, Yahoo, I trust them most of the time. A lot of times they see a guy the year before, they get a little too excited, show him a little bit too much love at draft time, and uneducated people look at it and just draft busts.
Right.
I think the guy could have a decent season. I really do. But also, it's a little bit of a risk to draft him that high. Whoever drafts this guy, because of his ranking, more than likely will draft him in the first round. I don't know if I'm willing to take a chance on him in the first round, as unproven as he is. But, the guy could have a lot of upside to him this year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like the guy. He's got a lot of talent. Little high for my taste. I'm personally not going to target him in the first round just because of the unknown factor there with him.
Exactly.
But he could pan out. Like I said, I'm rooting for the guy. I like him. He had a great late end of the season last year. So you never know. He might turn out good, but I personally will probably target somebody else in the first round.
What you're saying basically is in the first round, you want to pick proven, tested producers.
That's what the model
Year
is.
in, year out kind of guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not flash in the pants. I had a few good games last year. You want somebody who's been there, done that.
Exactly. You want to get your proven studs in the first and second round. Then maybe in the third round we can talk a David Johnson type of guy.
Makes sense.
But who are we?
Next, we got slanging Sammy Watkins, Buffalo Bills. Had 1,047 yards receiving last year, 9 TDs. What do you think about this guy, Trav?
Well, Yahoo has him ranked number 34. I like Sammy Watkins. I have him on both of my leagues this year. Both the leagues I'm in so far this year, I've got him in. I like him. Considering the options he has in Buffalo, or what he has to work with, he had a darn good season last year.
He did.
With Tyrod Taylor, they both are young, up-and-coming players. So I like the direction the Bills are heading. They've always been known as a defensive team, but with these two, maybe they can take that next step and become an offensive juggernaut.
You're right. I think they could, and I'm always a little weary when I'm looking at players on the Bills, especially a Rex Ryan coach team. They've never been just offensive showouts with Rex Ryan. It's all about defense. If Tyrod Taylor has a good season, I think Watkins could have a great year.
Right.
And he's got a good chance. He's got enough talent, and there's not really a lot of other receiving options up there anyway. He's the guy.
Right.
And it just depends on how he reacts to it pretty much, if Tyrod can get the protection he needs.
And let's not forget about LaShawn McCoy. This dude is still a stud in my opinion. Like I said, Philadelphia was stupid for trading him. So they got that trio going for him, so it could be pretty good in Buffalo really soon.
No doubt.
So moving on to number 3, we've got Allen Robinson, Jaguars wide receiver. 1,400 receiving yards, 14 touchdowns last year.
Okay, guys, Yahoo has him ranked 13. Okay? I'm a big Allen Robinson fan. I traded for the guy last year from your boy Trav over here.
You're
I
welcome.
gave up Roethlisberger for him. I had a couple decent quarterbacks. I actually had luck that it panned out quite the way I thought it would. Robinson still put up points for me. Between him and Allen Hurns, they're two of the best young receivers in the league. They're one of the best tandems out there. And not to mention they have Blake Bortles. They have Yeldon at running back. I think they're going to have a decent year. In years past, you figure, get a Jaguars receiver, they're going to be coming from behind all the time. That's what people thought was Cecil Shorts.
Right.
But now I think they're going to actually be decent. I think they could make a little playoff run this year. Don't hold me to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think they might. So, I think the guy's got a lot of upside. That's a guy, if he's there, I'm probably going to pick him.
Absolutely. Allen Robinson is one of my favorite new young wide receivers. There's so many good teams out there that are up and coming with good trios. You got Allen Robinson, of course Blake Bortles throwing to him, and then Allen Hurns, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. with that trio, their young, up-and-coming team, the Jaguars are looking pretty stout, man, and they shored up the defense drafting Jalen Ramsey this year.
Exactly.
So if he can stay healthy, man, look out for the Jaguars.
Call me crazy, Jaguars aren't bad this year. They're really not. They're doing some things down there. Next, we have Devontae Freeman, Falcons. He had a little over 1,000 yards last year on the ground, 11 TDs. Also through the air, he got 578 yards receiving and 3 TDs. The guy's a little bit of a dual threat. He shared time with Coleman last year. But I think the guy's got some upside. A lot of it depends on what the O-line does this year.
Right, and they have him ranked on Yahoo at number 25, which, considering the year he had last year, that's a little low. But I think what they're factoring in is he's going to be splitting carries more with Tevin Coleman this year, who's another great young up-and-coming running back. So between the two, Atlanta will have a good backfield. Freeman is kind of like Matt Forte and along those lines where he's going to kill defenses with his receiving yards. Because this dude can get out in the flat and just take off and flat out go. So depending on what their offensive line does, which is always a question for Atlanta, they've got Julio, they've got Matt Ryan, they've got Devontae Freeman. They've got a great team all around.
They have weapons.
Right.
You know,
they've shored up their defense a little bit in the past few years, but their offensive line needs some work. So last up, on the 5 breakout players from last year, we've got Mr. DeAndre Hopkins, who just ended his lockout today.
Mr. Hopkins here was sitting out because he wasn't happy with his contract to the tune of $40,000 a day. So just sitting out a couple days cost the guy $80,000. That's some serious coin to you and me, maybe not to Hopkins, but apparently he's back at practice. Word is he's still not too happy with his situation. Obviously, the guy's going to play. They have him ranked number 7 at Yahoo right now. The dude's lights out. I mean, he's a great athlete. Now he's got Osweiler there. Now he's got Lamar Miller, one of the potential big 3 that I know Houston fans are excited about it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. I like all 3 of those guys. Hopefully Hopkins can get his money and be happy and show up to practice and everything's fine. If you want to draft him, just keep an eye out on that situation right there. A lot of bitterness can spill over onto the football field.
Yeah, the dude had a monster year last year.
Yeah, he did.
1,521 receiving yards with 11 touchdowns. Like I said, ranked number 7 on Yahoo this year. DeAndre Hopkins took the league by storm last year. I mean, this guy was
came out of nowhere.
Lights out. So with him, with Lamar Miller and Osweiler, and like we talked about earlier, with that team that they're building in Houston, Houston is going to be a serious contender here pretty soon.
Good things happening in Houston, Trav. Good things.
Exactly. So that ends the 5 breakout players from last year. Now, quickly, we're just going to go over 5 sleeper players that Zach and I think you should look for this year.
For sure.
We got Allen Hurns, mentioned him earlier. Jay Ajayi, running back for the Dolphins because Arian Foster will be hurt this year.
At some point, Ajayi's going to be starting again. Guaranteed.
Number 3, Michael Floyd, Arizona wide receiver. Another great, young, up-and-coming receiver, touchdown machine. Ryan Matthews, hate to admit it, but the guy is going to be good now that DeMarco Murray's out of town.
One less back to deal with.
Right.
So.
And we just mentioned a minute ago, Devontae Parker, actually, the wide receiver for Miami. This guy is going to be pretty good, too. If Tannehill can shore up his game and throw him some touchdowns. So we want to thank everybody so much for watching our last video.
Appreciate it, guys.
We were never in a million years expect to get just that many views in our last video, so we hope that you'll keep watching, sharing, and posting, helping us promote our videos.
Yeah,
so
guys, if you like it, please hit like. Please subscribe. You know, let us know what you think about it. Also, kind of exciting news. September 25th.
Woo!
Me and the kid Trav here.
Yeah.
Going to the Cowboys-Bears game. We're going to be coming to you live from the tailgate party at the Cowboys game. We're going to be doing some interviews with some folks there, having a good time. Our boy Shelton from work is going to be rolling with us to the game, so we're pretty excited. Hopefully our guys will do something good out there for us.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a good time, guys. Look forward to it. September 25th.
Yeah, September 25th, Sunday night football versus the Bears.
Sunday night football. We're probably going to go live from the game at the tailgate party and then have a video come out the next day, maybe the 26th, and have some highlights from our trip and stuff. So look forward to seeing you guys out there, and thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, guys.